The little black girl grabbed the biker behind the dormitory, claiming a dark sedan had tracked her since morning. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's dive into today's story. It was a quiet morning on the college campus, the sun barely peeking through the clouds as students made their way to their classes. But for one little girl, this seemingly peaceful day was anything but ordinary. She had been walking back from the library when she noticed it. The dark sedan. It had been following her since she stepped out of the dormitory. At first, she thought it was a coincidence. Maybe someone else had been driving the same route. But as the hours passed, the vehicle remained behind her, never straying too far. Her heart began to race as she quickened her pace, trying to lose the car in the crowd. But it stayed with her, like a shadow in the distance. She glanced over her shoulder again. The dark sedan was still there, creeping silently, its tinted windows blocking any sign of who might be inside. That's when she knew. Something wasn't right. She had to get away, but she couldn't outrun it. The campus felt too big, yet too small at the same time. The familiar faces of students walking to class couldn't be trusted anymore. She needed help. She needed someone to keep her safe. Her eyes scanned the area, desperate. Then, she saw him. A biker. He was standing by the back of the dormitory, his leather jacket catching the light. She ran towards him, her footsteps echoing in the quiet morning air, her breath coming in short gasps. "Please, help me," she cried out, grabbing his sleeve with trembling hands. He turned to face her, his expression serious. "What's going on?" he asked, his voice calm but with a hint of concern. The little girl pointed toward the street. "The dark sedan. It's been following me since this morning. They're watching me. I'm scared. The bikers." Eyes narrowed as he followed her gaze. He didn't hesitate. "Get on the bike. Now," he said, his voice firm. The girl hesitated for a moment, but didn't need any further encouragement. She quickly climbed onto the back of his motorcycle, holding onto him tightly as he started the engine. The roar of the bike broke the stillness, and they sped away, leaving the dormitory and the dark sedan behind. But the danger wasn't over. As they rounded a corner, the sedan reappeared, tailing them at a dangerous distance. The biker's heart raced, but his focus was sharp. He swerved between lanes, trying to lose the car, but it was relentless. He could feel the little girl clinging to him, her fear almost palpable. He needed to think fast. With one swift motion, he turned onto a side street, cutting through a narrow alley. The sedan followed, but not without hesitation. It slowed down, unsure of what to do next. The biker didn't stop. He kept going, the roar of the engine cutting through the tension. He glanced back once more and saw the sedan make a sudden U-turn. For a moment, he thought they might be safe. But the danger was still close. He had to get the girl somewhere safe, and fast. The sound of the motorcycle echoed through the streets as the biker and the girl sped away, the wind rushing past them in a blur. She clung to him, her hands tightly wrapped around his waist as they tore down the road, the dark sedan still tailing them in the distance. Her heart was racing, and her mind was in a fog of panic. She had no idea who was in the sedan, but she knew one thing for sure. They weren't just following her, they were after her. The biker glanced over his shoulder, his eyes narrowing as he saw the sedan keeping pace, its headlights cutting through the darkness. It was too close. "Hold on tight," the biker shouted over the roar of the engine. The girl's grip tightened instinctively as the biker swerved through the streets, the motorcycle weaving between parked cars and traffic, trying to shake off the car chasing them. The sound of the engine reverberated in the night, and for a moment, it felt like they were alone in the world. But the girl could still hear the unmistakable hum of the sedan behind them, relentless. Every twist and turn they made, the sedan was right there. The biker's mind was racing now, each thought moving faster than the bike itself. He knew he couldn't outrun the sedan forever. He needed a plan. He needed to get her somewhere safe. "Where are we going?" the girl asked, her voice trembling as she leaned into him. "I don't know," he admitted, his voice gruff. "But we're going to make sure they don't get to you." The girl felt a chill run down her spine. She didn't know who this biker was, but he was the first person in hours who hadn't made her feel afraid. Still, the dread in her chest refused to subside. Who are they? Why are they following me? She asked. The biker didn't answer immediately. Instead, he shifted the bike into a higher gear, pushing the motorcycle to its limits as they sped through a red light. We're not stopping until we know you're safe, he said after a long pause. As they raced through the city, the biker's mind kept flashing back to the promise he had made to someone long ago. He had sworn he would protect people, no matter what. And right now, this little girl needed him. There was no turning back. The sedan was still behind them, and it wasn't showing signs of slowing down. Stay down, the biker ordered, pulling into a dark alley. He skidded to a stop behind a row of abandoned cars, hiding the bike in the shadows. He could feel the girl's trembling hands still clutching him tightly as they both froze in place, listening. The night air was heavy with silence. The sound of the sedan's engine grew louder. It was getting closer. The biker's heart raced. He could feel the tension in the air as the car rolled past the alley, just a few feet away from them. The headlights flickered for a moment, then vanished. They had passed them by. The biker let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. He turned his head to check on the girl, and for the first time since they had started this wild ride, he saw her eyes wide with disbelief. Are we safe? She whispered. The biker nodded slowly. For now, he said, his voice steady. But we need to keep moving. We can't stay here. He revved the engine again, ready to take off. The girl nodded, her grip loosening slightly, but still holding on to him with a sense of desperation. They had only just begun to run, and he knew this chase wasn't over. Not yet. Who was that in the sedan? The biker asked as they sped off again, trying to keep the girl calm. I don't know, she said quietly, her voice trembling again. But they've been following me for days. The biker's mind raced. He could feel the weight of the girl's fear in his own chest. There was something more to this, something dark. He needed answers. He needed to protect her, but he couldn't do it alone. The city streets flew by them, but even as they took a sharp turn onto a new street, the feeling of being watched never left. The girl kept looking over her shoulder, her eyes scanning the darkness for any sign of the sedan. She was scared, and so was he, but he couldn't let her see it. He had to be strong for her. He pushed the bike harder, weaving through the narrow streets, trying to lose any trace of the sedan. His focus was sharp, every move deliberate. The girl's grip tightened once again, and he could feel her trembling body against his back. He glanced back over his shoulder again, but this time, the sedan wasn't there. It had disappeared. For a moment, he allowed himself to hope. But deep down, he knew this wasn't over. Not by a long shot. They had only just begun their escape. I can feel the tension mounting as the biker and the little girl speed through the darkened streets, the roar of the motorcycle cutting through the silence of the night. The girl clings tightly to him, her small frame pressed against his back, her fingers digging into the leather of his jacket. Despite the safety of the alley they just hid in, the fear in her eyes never fades. She keeps glancing over her shoulder, her mind racing, her heart pounding with each passing second. We're okay. The biker reassures her, his voice steady, but even he feels the weight of the danger pressing in around them. He doesn't let up on the throttle, pushing the bike faster as they head for the outskirts of the city, trying to get to a safer place where they can regroup and plan their next move. The girl's breathing is shallow, her face pale with fear. She can't help but wonder why they're after her. What did she do to deserve this? Who are they? She asks, her voice barely a whisper, as if speaking any louder might summon the dark sedan once more. The biker doesn't answer immediately. His grip tightens on the handlebars as he makes a sharp turn, narrowly avoiding a traffic light. I don't know, he finally says, his voice low and gravelly. But we'll find out. The girl falls silent, her mind racing with 1,000 questions. Her life has been turned upside down in the last few hours, and she doesn't know who to trust anymore. The only person who has stood by her is the biker, a stranger, but somehow, he's the only one who hasn't made her feel like a target. He's her protector now. The bike cuts through the winding streets, the city's lights fading behind them as they enter a more deserted area. The roads are quiet, almost too quiet, but the biker knows they're not out of the woods yet. He's been in situations like this before, and he knows how quickly things can turn dangerous. He glances at the girl again. We need to get you somewhere safe. I don't know who's behind this, but we're not stopping until I know you're okay. The girl nods, though she feels a lump form in her throat. She's scared. She doesn't know what's going on, but she feels the weight of something terrible hanging over her. Suddenly, she remembers something. The sedan, she says, her voice trembling. It had a symbol on the back. A skull with snake eyes. The biker's eyes narrow, a flash of recognition crossing his face. The Serpents, he mutters under his breath. He shifts the bike into a higher gear, speeding up. The girl feels the tension in the air, the weight of his words sinking in. What do you mean, the Serpents? She asks, her voice barely audible. They're a gang, he says, his voice low and steady. Dangerous. And if they're after you, that means they have a reason. But I won't let them get to you. The biker's mind is racing. The mention of the Serpents sends a chill down his spine. He's heard of them, seen their mark, but he never thought he'd be involved with them. Not like this. He's been part of some rough situations in his time, but this feels different. The girl's safety is his responsibility now, and he'll do whatever it takes to protect her. They drive on for what feels like hours, the city now a distant memory behind them. The roads become more isolated, the only sound being the hum of the bike's engine and the occasional rustling of the wind. The girl's grip on him loosens slightly, but she still clings to him like her life depends on it. The biker knows they need to keep moving. The longer they stay in one place, the more likely it is that the Serpents will catch up to them. We're almost there, he says, though he has no idea if that's true. He just needs to keep her calm, to keep moving. As they approach a small town on the outskirts, the bike slows down, the headlights illuminating the empty streets. The biker scans the area, looking for somewhere they can hide, somewhere they can figure out their next move. Let's park here, he says, pulling into a small parking lot near an old diner. He kills the engine, the silence of the night settling around them. The girl doesn't move, her eyes wide with fear. What now, she asks. The biker looks around, his eyes scanning the darkened area. He doesn't trust the diner, but it's a good place to regroup for now. We'll stay here for a bit. I need to make a call, he says, his voice firm. He reaches for his phone, his fingers shaking slightly as he dials a number he hasn't called in years. The girl watches him, her heart still pounding, but for the first time in hours, she feels a small sense of relief. At least, for now, they're safe. But deep down, she knows this is only the beginning. They've just scratched the surface of something much bigger, and the Serpents are not going to let them go without a fight. I can feel the tension building as the biker dials the phone, his thumb hovering over the screen. The girl, still clinging to him, watches in silence, her heart racing. She can feel the weight of the situation pressing down on her chest. She had no idea who the Serpents were or why they were after her, but she could sense that things were getting worse by the minute. As the phone rings, the biker's jaw tightens. He hasn't spoken to the person on the other end of the line in years, but he knows this is the only person who can help them now. The phone picks up, and a gruff voice answers, "Yeah?" The biker pauses for a moment, trying to steady his voice. "It's Forge. I need your help." The voice on the other end grows quiet. "What's going on?" "I'm in deep. Got a kid with me, and we're being hunted by the Serpents. I need backup, now." The voice on the other end sighs, and Forge can hear the low rumble of what might be a motorcycle engine in the background. "I'll get the crew together. Stay put, Forge. We'll be there in 2 hours." Forge ends the call, shoving the phone into his pocket. He looks at the girl, who is now staring at him with wide, fearful eyes. "We've got a plan," he says, trying to reassure her. But even as he speaks the words, he feels a knot tighten in his stomach. He doesn't know how this will play out, but he knows one thing for sure. He's not letting anyone hurt her. "Who are the Serpents?" she asks quietly, her voice shaking. "They're a gang. Bad news. But we're not going to let them get you." The girl's eyes drop to her lap, her hands twisting together nervously. "But why me? Why are they after me?" Forge doesn't have an answer. All he knows is that something isn't right. He can't explain it, but he knows the Serpents didn't just stumble upon her. This is personal. "We'll figure that out later," he says, his voice firm. "Right now, we need to get out of here." He revs the engine of his motorcycle, the sound of it filling the quiet parking lot. The girl tenses up, but Forge can see her nod in agreement. They're not safe yet. As they leave the lot, Forge stays vigilant, his eyes scanning the road ahead. He's been in situations like this before, and he knows how quickly things can go south. The girl's grip on his waist tightens once more as they merge onto the highway. He glances at her, offering a quick, reassuring smile. "We'll make it through this," he says. But even as the words leave his lips, a dark sedan pulls up behind them, its headlights shining in the rearview mirror. Forge's heart drops. It's them. They're not getting away that easily. The sedan pulls up close, its engine revving as it closes in on them. Forge doesn't have time to think. He slams his foot down on the gas, speeding down the highway. The motorcycle roars to life, but the sedan stays right on their tail. The wind whips past them as they race down the road, Forge weaving between lanes, trying to shake the sedan. But no matter what he does, the car stays with them, like a shadow in the dark. "Hold on tight," Forge yells over the engine, his heart pounding in his chest. The girl doesn't say anything, but he can feel her pressing closer to him, her fear almost tangible. They race through the night, the sedan never letting up, the headlights blinding them as they speed ahead. Forge's mind is working quickly, trying to come up with a plan. But he knows that if they don't get off the highway soon, they're going to be cornered. He takes a sharp turn off the road, his tires squealing as he shifts the bike onto a dirt path. The sedan follows, but it's slower on the rough terrain. Forge doesn't stop. He knows he needs to lead them somewhere the sedan can't follow. As they race through the winding dirt road, Forge spots a small clearing up ahead. He's almost there. He can hear the tires of the sedan screeching as it tries to catch up, but he's not stopping. They reach the clearing just as the sedan pulls up behind them. Forge slams the brakes, bringing the bike to a stop just in time. The sedan screeches to a halt behind them, the engine roaring in the still night air. "Get off the bike now," Forge orders, his voice sharp. The girl hesitates for a moment, but she obeys. She jumps off the bike, running to the side as Forge pulls out a small pistol from his jacket. He doesn't want to use it, but he knows it's the only way to protect them now. The door of the sedan opens slowly, and a man steps out, his face obscured by the shadows. "You've got nowhere to go, Forge," the man says, his voice cold and menacing. "Hand over the girl, and maybe we'll let you live." Forge steps forward, his stance firm. "I don't think that's going to happen." The man laughs, but there's no humor in it. "You're making a big mistake." But Forge stands his ground. The girl's safety is all that matters now, and he won't let anyone take her. The standoff is tense, the air thick with tension as the two men lock eyes. Forge knows the stakes. He can feel the weight of the moment, but he also knows that he's not backing down. Not this time. I can feel the tension in the air as Forge stands face to face with the man from the sedan. The standoff is unbearable, each second dragging on like a lifetime. The man's eyes are cold, filled with malice, while Forge's gaze remains steady, unwavering. He knows that there is no going back now. The safety of the girl depends on what happens next. The man takes a slow step forward, his hand resting on the handle of a gun tucked into his waistband. "You're out of your league, Forge," he sneers. "Hand over the girl, and we'll let you walk away. But if you don't, well, it won't be pretty." Forge's grip on the pistol tightens, his finger ready on the trigger, but he doesn't take his eyes off the man. "I'm not giving her up," Forge responds, his voice calm but laced with authority. "Not now, not ever." The man laughs, the sound harsh and humorless. "You really think you can protect her? You're just a biker. You can't stop the Serpents." Forge's jaw clenches. He's heard enough. "I don't care who you are. You don't get to hurt her." The tension escalates as both men stand there, the night air thick with the promise of violence. The girl, who has been standing to the side, trembling with fear, takes a tentative step toward Forge. "Please," she says softly, her voice barely a whisper. "I don't want anyone to get hurt." Forge's eyes soften for a moment as he looks at her, his heart aching for the pain she's enduring. He takes a deep breath and steadies himself. "I won't let anything happen to you," he assures her, his voice gentle yet firm. The man from the sedan smirks, taking another slow step forward. "You're making a mistake," he warns. "This isn't a game. You're in way over your head." Just as the words leave his mouth, Forge moves faster than the man expects, pulling the trigger on his pistol. The shot rings out into the night, but it's not aimed at the man. It's a warning shot, meant to send a clear message. The man freezes, his eyes wide with surprise. Forge doesn't give him a chance to react. "This is your last warning," Forge growls. "You turn around, get in your car, and leave. Now." The man hesitates, clearly assessing the situation. He glances at the girl, then back at Forge, his mind racing. But Forge is resolute. He's not backing down. Slowly, the man raises his hands in surrender. Fine, he says through gritted teeth. You're making a big mistake. You'll regret this. Without another word, he turns and walks back toward the sedan, his footsteps heavy and reluctant. Forge keeps his pistol aimed at him until the man reaches the car and gets in. The sedan slowly pulls away, its headlights disappearing into the night. Forge lets out a breath he didn't realize he was holding, his body finally relaxing as the immediate threat passes. The girl, still standing behind him, watches in silence. She's shaken, but she knows they've won this round. Forge holsters his pistol and turns to her. You're safe. For now, he says, his voice softer. The girl nods, but there's still fear in her eyes. What now, she asks. Forge takes a moment, looking out into the distance. Now we get out of here. We keep moving. The Serpents won't give up that easily. The girl nods, her face pale but determined. Where are we going? She asks, her voice trembling. We'll figure that out along the way. Forge replies, his tone steady. Right now, we need to get somewhere safe. Somewhere they can't find us. Forge starts the bike again, the engine rumbling to life as he motions for the girl to climb on. She hesitates for a moment, then does as he asks, wrapping her arms tightly around his waist. As they pull out of the clearing, the world around them seems eerily quiet, the road ahead uncertain. But Forge knows one thing for sure, they can't stay here. Not for long. He doesn't know how long they'll be safe, but he won't stop until she's out of danger. They ride into the night, the only sound the roar of the bike and the wind rushing past them. The girl's grip tightens around him, her heart still racing, but she feels a small sense of comfort in the steadiness of his presence. The road ahead is dark, and the future uncertain, but for now, they have each other. And that's all that matters. I can feel the tension in the air as Forge and the girl ride into the night, the bike's headlights cutting through the darkness. The road stretches ahead, uncertain and winding, but Forge keeps his focus steady. He knows they can't stay out in the open for long, and even though the immediate danger has passed, the threat from the Serpents is far from over. The girl clings to him, her arms wrapped tightly around his waist. Forge can feel her shivering against his back, but he doesn't speak. There's nothing more to say for now. They've had their moment of calm, but Forge knows it won't last. As they ride through the empty streets, his mind races, planning their next move. He knows they need to get to a safe house, somewhere out of reach of the Serpents. But where? He doesn't have many options. He hasn't been in this area for long, and even though he's part of a network of people he can trust, he doesn't know how far he can push it. The girl's voice breaks through his thoughts. Where are we going? She asks, her voice still trembling. Forge glances over his shoulder, offering a reassuring smile. We'll be fine. Just hang on. He's not sure if he believes it, but he can't let her see the doubt in his eyes. The night feels heavy, and the darkness presses in around them like a suffocating blanket. Every corner they turn, every alley they pass, Forge feels a sense of unease. He knows the Serpents are out there, searching for them, and the closer they get to finding them, the more dangerous this whole situation becomes. The girl shifts behind him, and Forge can feel her breathing slow as she settles in, trying to calm herself. He can't help but wonder what's going through her mind. She's been through more in a day than most people experience in a lifetime. She deserves peace. She deserves a life without fear. As they continue down the road, Forge hears a faint noise behind them. At first, he thinks it's nothing, just the wind, the sound of their motorcycle cutting through the night. But then, he hears it again, the distinct hum of another engine. His heart races. The last thing they need right now is another chase. He glances over his shoulder, but the road behind them is empty. For a moment, he allows himself to believe it was just his imagination. But then he hears it once more, closer this time. The sound of another vehicle following them. Forge's instincts kick in. Hold on tight, he says, his voice low and urgent. The girl doesn't say anything, but he feels her grip tighten. Forge pushes the throttle harder, urging the bike forward. He takes a sharp turn, hoping to lose whatever's behind them, but the sound of the engine behind them gets louder. Whoever it is, they're not giving up. Forge swears under his breath. He needs to think quickly. He turns the bike onto a side road, hoping to find a way to shake them off. The road is narrow, surrounded by trees, and the headlights of the pursuing vehicle are now clearly visible in the distance. Forge knows he can't keep this up for long. They need a place to hide. His eyes scan the area, searching for something, anything that could help. Ahead, he sees a small, abandoned building tucked off the side of the road. It's not much, but it's their best shot. He takes another sharp turn, guiding the bike toward the building, the tires kicking up dirt as they slide into the gravel driveway. He slows the bike down, parking it behind the structure, just out of sight. The pursuing vehicle's headlights sweep across the area, briefly illuminating the building. Forge holds his breath, hoping they won't see them. The engine of the car slows, and Forge listens intently. For a moment, there's nothing but silence. Then, the sound of tires crunching on gravel grows louder again. The car is still coming. Forge's mind races. He looks at the girl, her eyes wide with fear. "Stay down," he whispers, before sliding off the bike and moving quietly toward the building. The girl follows his lead, slipping off the bike and crouching low beside him. They move as silently as possible, staying in the shadows. The car slowly rolls into view, its headlights cutting through the dark. Forge can hear the engine humming, the car moving slowly, cautiously, as if searching for something. His heart beats in his throat. The car stops just a few feet away from them, the headlights shining brightly on the ground. Forge's pulse quickens. If they're caught here, there's no telling what will happen. The car's engine cuts off, and the silence is almost unbearable. For a long moment, Forge doesn't move. He just waits, holding his breath, praying that the serpents don't find them. Then, without warning, the sound of a door opening breaks the silence. A figure steps out of the car, moving toward the building. Forge's heart skips a beat. He can't risk being discovered. Without a second thought, he pulls the girl down lower, pushing her behind the bike. The figure's footsteps grow closer. Forge's hand tightens around the handle of his pistol, ready for whatever comes next. He knows he can't let them get away this time. I can feel the cold sweat on my neck as the figure approaches. Every step he takes seems to echo in the silence of the night. My hand grips the pistol tighter, the weight of it comforting yet terrifying. The girl crouches beside me, her eyes wide with fear, her breath coming in shallow gasps. We're both hidden behind the motorcycle, barely visible in the shadows of the abandoned building. The footsteps stop just a few feet away, and for a long moment, there's nothing but the sound of the wind rustling through the trees. Then, the figure bends down, peering around the side of the building. My heart skips a beat. This is it. We've been caught. But instead of coming closer, the figure stands up and turns back toward the car. I hold my breath, waiting for him to make his move. "It's not worth it," the figure mutters to himself. "They're not here." His voice is low, but I can hear the frustration in his words. He hesitates for a moment longer, then walks back to the sedan, his footsteps growing fainter with each passing second. The door to the car slams shut, and the engine roars to life. The sedan pulls away, its headlights fading into the distance. I exhale, the tension in my chest finally starting to ease. We're safe for now. I turn to the girl, who is still crouching behind the bike, her eyes wide with disbelief. "It's okay," I whisper, trying to reassure her. "We're okay." But even as the words leave my mouth, I know it's far from over. The serpents are still out there, and they'll stop at nothing to find her. We can't stay here. Not for long. I help the girl to her feet, keeping my eyes on the road as I slide my pistol back into its holster. We can't afford to stay hidden forever. We need to move. I say, my voice steady. We can't let them know where we are. The girl nods, though I can see the fear still in her eyes. "Where are we going?" she asks, her voice trembling. "I don't know yet," I admit, my mind racing. "But we can't stay here." I climb back onto the bike and start the engine, the sound of it filling the silence around us. The girl climbs on behind me, her arms once again wrapping around my waist. We take off down the road, my eyes scanning the area for any sign of danger. The city feels distant now, the streets empty and dark. The night is quiet, too quiet, and I can't shake the feeling that we're being watched. The girl's grip tightens around me as we ride, and I can feel her body trembling against mine. I don't blame her. She's been through more in one day than most people experience in a lifetime. I don't know how much longer I can keep her safe. We need to get somewhere far away, somewhere the serpents won't find us. But every turn we take feels like a risk, every road a potential trap. "I'm scared," the girl whispers, her voice barely audible over the wind. I don't answer right away. What can I say? That everything will be okay? That we'll outrun them? The truth is, I don't know. I don't know what's coming next. But I do know this. I won't stop until she's safe. I won't let them hurt her. I glance over my shoulder, but the road behind us is still empty. For now, at least, we've managed to stay one step ahead. But I can't shake the feeling that they're still out there, waiting for the right moment to strike. We ride. For hours, the city now a distant memory behind us. The roads are getting quieter, and the darkness seems to stretch on forever. But still, I can't shake the feeling of being hunted. Every sound, every movement in the distance makes me jump. I know we can't keep running forever. We need to find a place to hide, to regroup. The girl is quiet now, her grip loosening as she leans against me, exhaustion finally setting in. I can feel her breathing slowing, her body relaxing against mine. But I know we can't stop. Not yet. I take another sharp turn, leading us down a narrow dirt road that cuts through the woods. The trees on either side loom like silent sentinels, casting long shadows across the ground. It feels like we're the only ones alive in this forgotten part of the world. We need to keep moving. I can't let her fall asleep yet, not when the danger is so close. The road ahead is uncertain, and the future is unclear. But for now, it's just us, on the run, trying to stay one step ahead of the Serpents. And I won't stop until I get her to safety. The sound of the motorcycle's engine is the only thing breaking the silence of the night, and with each passing second, I feel the weight of the promise I made, to protect her. And I will, no matter what. I can feel the unease growing as we continue down the narrow dirt road, the sound of the motorcycle engine cutting through the silence of the woods. The girl is quiet now, her small body pressed against my back, her grip loose but still there. I know she's exhausted, but we can't stop. Not yet. The night stretches out before us, dark and endless, and the trees seem to close in, their branches reaching out like fingers. Every now and then, a sound from the forest makes me tense, but I keep my focus ahead. I can't afford to lose track now. I need to get her somewhere safe. The road ahead looks empty, desolate even, but the further we go, the more I can feel the weight of what we're running from. The Serpents are still out there, still hunting, and I know it's only a matter of time before they catch up. The girl shifts behind me, her voice barely. A whisper. "Where are we going?" she asks. Her voice is filled with worry, but I can tell she's trying to stay calm. I don't have an answer for her. Not really. I don't know where we're going, but I can't tell her that. We'll be safe soon, I say, my voice more reassuring than I feel. The girl doesn't respond, but I can feel her clinging to me just a little tighter, as if my words are the only thing keeping her from falling apart. The bike rumbles beneath us, the only sound in the quiet wilderness, and I push the throttle just a little harder, trying to keep our speed up. My eyes dart between the road ahead and the rearview mirror, scanning for any signs of movement. I can't shake the feeling that we're being watched, that the Serpents are closing in. It's a gut feeling, one that's been with me ever since we left the city. I've been in tight situations before, but this one feels different. The girl is different. I can't afford to let anything happen to her. She deserves a chance at a life without fear. As we drive on, the road twists and turns, the darkness of the trees swallowing the light from the bike's headlights. The girl leans into me, her breath warm against my back. She's so small, so fragile, and yet I can feel the weight of her fears pressing into me. I wonder what's going through her mind. What could make someone as young as her so afraid? She's already been through so much, and I know it's not over. Not yet. We keep moving, the bike carrying us through the forest, away from the dangers we left behind. But no matter how far we go, I know the Serpents won't stop looking for her. They won't stop until they get what they want. I can't let that happen. The bike's engine hums steadily as we ride, and I know it's only a matter of time before we reach the outskirts of town. I've got a contact there, someone who can help us. But even then, I don't know how much longer we'll be safe. As we approach a small clearing, I see a faint light in the distance. A cabin. It's not much, but it's better than nothing. I signal to the girl that we're about to stop, and she leans in closer, her hands gripping me once more. I slow the bike down, easing into the clearing, the headlights cutting through the darkness. The cabin is small, weathered, but it's got the kind of isolated charm that might make it the perfect place to lay low for a while. I pull the bike to a stop in front of the cabin, the engine dying as we come to rest. The girl dismounts first, her legs unsteady as she stands. I watch her for a moment, making sure she's okay before I slide off the bike myself. The cabin is quiet, the surrounding woods eerily still. I don't trust the silence, but I don't hear any other vehicles. For now, it's just us. Stay close. I tell the girl as I move toward the door, my hand on the handle of the pistol tucked into my waistband. I'm not taking any chances. The last thing I want is for us to be caught off guard. I push the door open slowly, the hinges creaking. The inside is dark, but there's a faint glow from a single lamp in the corner. It's a simple space, a small living room with an old couch and a few mismatched chairs. Nothing fancy, nothing that screams danger. But it'll do for now. I turn to the girl, who is standing at the door, her eyes wide as she takes in the small space. We'll be safe here for the night, I say, trying to sound reassuring, though my mind is still racing. The girl nods, her eyes still filled with uncertainty. I can't blame her. I feel the same way. The world feels like it's closing in, and no matter how hard I try, I can't shake the feeling that we're being hunted. But for now, we have a moment of peace. I lock the door behind us and move toward the couch. Sit, I say gently. I'll keep watch. The girl doesn't argue. She sits down quietly, pulling her knees up to her chest as she watches me. I watch the road outside, my mind still running through every possible outcome. The serpents won't stop. They'll keep looking for us, no matter where we go. But for now, we're safe. I can only hope it lasts long enough for us to figure out what to do next. I sit by the window, my eyes constantly scanning the road outside. The faint glow from the lamp is the only light in the room, casting long shadows that stretch across the floor. The girl sits on the couch, her small form huddled under a blanket, her eyes distant. I can feel the weight of her silence, the fear still clinging to her. It's been hours since we arrived at this cabin, and though the night has passed, the sense of danger hasn't lifted. I haven't heard anything. No cars, no footsteps. But I know better than to let my guard down. The serpents are still out there, still hunting. Every moment that passes without incident feels like a fragile piece. The girl shifts slightly on the couch, her voice breaking the silence. What happens if they find us? She asks, her voice small, barely above a whisper. I turn to face her, my expression hardening. We won't let that happen, I say, though even I can't fully convince myself of it. I take a deep breath, trying to push away the unease that's settling in my chest. I can't give her false hope, but I can't let her see the fear I'm feeling. We'll keep moving. I continue, my tone steady. We'll stay one step ahead. I won't let them hurt you. She nods, but I can see the doubt in her eyes. She's been through too much, and I don't blame her for not trusting me fully yet. She's scared, and who wouldn't be? But I have to believe that we can make it through this. I have to believe that we can outrun the serpents. I stand up, stretching my legs. The night feels long, and the walls of the cabin seem to close in around me. The girl looks up at me, her face pale, her eyes hollow with exhaustion. What if they come here? She asks, her voice cracking. I force a reassuring smile, though it feels like a lie. Then we'll be ready. I move to the door, checking the locks again, even though I know it won't make a difference if the serpents are serious about finding us. I've been in situations like this before, danger lurking in the shadows, every step a risk. But this time it's different. This time, I'm responsible for her. I can't fail her. The wind howls outside, and I hear the creaking of the building as it settles. The girl stands up from the couch, her movements stiff and slow. I'm scared, she admits, her voice barely above a whisper. I look at her, my heart aching. I know, I say softly. But you're not alone. I'm here. She nods again, but I can see how deep the fear goes. It's not just about the serpents. It's about everything she's been through. No one should have to live in constant fear. I don't know what the future holds for us, but I do know one thing. I'll protect her with everything I've got. I turn back to the window, watching the road. The longer we stay here, the more vulnerable we become. The girl deserves a chance to feel safe, to feel normal again. She deserves to live a life without looking over her shoulder every minute. But that life isn't going to come easily. The serpents won't stop until they've found her, and I don't know how much longer I can keep running. The sound of the wind outside grows louder, and I realize how quiet it is inside the cabin. Too quiet. The silence weighs on me, and I feel like I'm waiting for something to break it. The door creaks open behind me, and I tense up, my hand instinctively reaching for my gun. But it's just the girl, standing in the doorway, her eyes wide with fear. I heard something, she says, her voice shaky. I turn to face her, trying to stay calm. What did you hear? I ask, my voice low. She hesitates for a moment, looking out into the darkness, before shaking her head. I don't know. I thought I heard someone. My pulse quickens. I step toward her, keeping my movements slow and deliberate. Stay here, I tell her. I'll check it out. She nods, retreating to the couch, her eyes never leaving me. I open the door slowly, my hand on the handle of my gun, ready for whatever comes. The cold night air hits me immediately, and I feel the weight of the world on my shoulders as I step outside. The darkness is thick, the trees surrounding the cabin like a wall. I listen, straining for any sound, any movement. The wind rustles the leaves, but other than that, it's quiet. Too quiet. I take a few steps toward the edge of the clearing, my eyes scanning the trees. I hear nothing, but the tension in the air is palpable. Something feels off. I turn back toward the cabin, ready to go inside when I hear it. A distant sound, faint but unmistakable, footsteps. My heart skips a beat as I quickly turn back toward the trees. Someone is out there. I can hear them moving, their footsteps muffled by the thick brush. My instincts kick in, and I slowly move back toward the cabin, my gun drawn. I keep my steps light, hoping the intruder won't hear me. The girl is still inside, but I don't know how much longer I can keep her safe. I have to make sure they don't get to her. The footsteps grow louder, and I know they're getting closer. Whoever it is, they're coming straight for us. I don't know who they are, but I can't afford to wait and find out. I push the door open, my heart pounding in my chest. Get down, I whisper urgently. The girl doesn't need any more instruction. She knows what's at stake. She crouches behind the couch, her eyes wide with fear. I stand between her and the door, my gun at the ready, waiting for the moment when the door bursts open. And I know, whatever happens next, I won't let them take her. I can feel the hairs on the back of my neck stand up as I stand in the doorway, the cold night air pressing against my skin. My hand is wrapped tightly around the grip of my gun, my eyes darting between the shadows of the trees, waiting for the first sign of movement. Every second feels like an eternity. The faint sound of footsteps crunching on the gravel outside grows louder, and I can feel my heart racing in my chest. Someone is out there, and they're getting closer. I glance quickly over my shoulder at the girl, crouched behind the couch, her wide eyes locked on me. She knows what's coming. The footsteps are closer now, unmistakable. My breath is shallow as I slowly close the door behind me, my eyes never leaving the trees. I try to steady myself, but my instincts are on high alert. The girl's safety is everything. I won't let anything happen to her. Then, in the distance, I hear something that makes my blood run cold. A voice. Low, gruff, and unmistakable. They're here. I see the bike. The voice is followed by another, equally menacing. Search the place. They've got to be hiding here somewhere. The hairs on my arms rise as I hear them getting closer, their voices now muffled but clear enough for me to hear. The Serpents. I was right. They found us. I turn to face the girl, my mind racing. Stay quiet. Stay down. I whisper urgently, my voice low but firm. She nods, her face pale with fear, and I can see the panic in her eyes, but there's no time to comfort her. I need to protect her. I need to make sure they don't find her. The voices outside are getting louder now. They're closer, and I know that once they reach the cabin, it's only a matter of time before they find us. My heart is pounding, my thoughts spinning in every direction. Should I fight back? Should we run? But there's nowhere to go. The cabin is surrounded, and the woods offer no cover. We're trapped. The floorboards creak under the weight of footsteps outside. I grip the gun harder, my knuckles turning white. I can't let them get any closer. The silence inside the cabin is suffocating. I'm holding my breath, listening for any sign that they've found their way to the door. The girl is still crouched behind the couch, her small body shaking, but she doesn't make a sound. I can feel her fear in every breath, but I can't look at her now. I can't let my focus slip. There's too much at stake. Suddenly, the door handle begins to turn slowly. My stomach drops. I pull the gun from its holster, ready for whatever comes next. The door creaks open just a few inches, and I know they're trying to be quiet, trying to sneak in. I hold my breath, waiting. The door suddenly slams open, and a dark figure steps into the doorway. "We know you're in here," the man growls. "You can't hide forever." My pulse quickens, and I take a step forward, raising the gun, ready to defend myself and the girl. But before I can make a move, another figure steps into the doorway behind the first. The Serpents are here, and they've got us cornered. You're not going anywhere, the second man snarls. I don't have much time. I need to think quickly. My instincts take over, and I act. I fire a warning shot into the air, the loud crack of the gun ringing through the cabin, and the two men hesitate, their eyes widening in surprise. Stay back, I shout, my voice steady even though my hands are shaking. I'll shoot. The men freeze, but I can see the look in their eyes, the anger, the threat, and I know they won't back down without a fight. One of them lunges forward, and I fire again, this time grazing his shoulder. He stumbles back with a grunt of pain, but he doesn't stop. You're making a big mistake, he says through gritted teeth, his hand going to the gun on his belt. My heart pounds in my chest as I prepare for the worst. The other man, seeing his partner hurt, pulls out a knife, his eyes wild with rage. I don't have a lot of options now. I need to end this quickly before they close in. I take a deep breath, steadying my aim, and fire one more shot, hitting the man with the knife in the leg. He drops to the ground with a cry of pain, but he's not out of the fight yet. The other man growls and charges at me, but this time, I'm ready. I sidestep just in time, letting him crash into the wall, and I use the opportunity to kick the gun out of his hand. The man snarls in frustration, but I don't give him a chance to recover. I land a punch to his jaw, sending him stumbling back. I don't wait to see if he's going to fight back. I grab the girl's hand and pull her toward the back of the cabin. We need to get out. We need to run. But as we reach the door, I hear more footsteps, more voices in the distance. Reinforcements are coming. I glance back at the girl, my heart racing. We have to go? Now, I whisper urgently. She nods, her eyes wide with fear, and we burst through the back door, running into the woods, the sound of the Serpents' pursuit growing louder behind us. The chase is on. I can hear the footsteps behind us, growing louder with every passing second. The girl's breath is ragged against my back, her small hands gripping my jacket tightly as we push through the dense underbrush. We're running, but I know we won't outrun them forever. The Serpents are relentless. They've been tracking us for hours, and now they're closing in. The trees around us blur into a sea of shadows, the moonlight barely penetrating the thick canopy above. My heart is pounding in my chest, the sound almost drowning out the noise of the pursuit. I can feel the girl's fear, her small body trembling against mine as we push through the wilderness. I glance back quickly, my pulse quickening as I catch a glimpse of the men coming after us. Their heavy footsteps crunch against the leaves, too close for comfort. I keep running, my eyes darting around, searching for an escape. There has to be a way out of this. The girl's voice breaks through the noise. Are they going to catch us? She asks, her voice filled with panic. I swallow hard, my throat dry. No, I say, though I'm not sure I believe it myself. I won't let them. My hand tightens around the gun tucked in my waistband. I don't want to use it unless I have to. I don't want to put her through any more violence. But if it comes down to it, I'll fight. I won't let them take her. We crash through a thicket of bushes, and I stumble, barely keeping my footing. The girl falls behind me for a moment, but she quickly catches up, her fear fueling her speed. Stay with me. I grunt, my voice hoarse from exertion. We're almost there. I'm not sure if that's true. I don't know where we're going anymore, but I keep moving, the sound of the Serpents growing closer, their voices reaching me through the trees. They're getting closer. I can feel the weight of their presence, like a storm on the horizon. I push the girl ahead of me, urging her to keep moving. Go, go, go. I say, my voice barely a whisper, desperation creeping into my words. She doesn't hesitate, her small feet pounding against the dirt as she follows my lead. I can't stop now. I can't risk looking back. But I can hear them. The men. They're too close. The sound of their footsteps is now almost right behind us, and I know if we don't find a place to hide, they'll catch us. My heart is racing, but I keep pushing forward, my mind working desperately for a solution. And then I see it. A small, crumbling cabin up ahead, half hidden by the trees. It's not much, but it's a place to hide. I point toward it. There! I shout, my voice loud in the otherwise silent woods. Get to the cabin. Quick! The girl nods, and we make a mad dash for the shelter, our footsteps hurried and frantic. I can hear the Serpents' voices now, closer than ever. One of them shouts, "They're right ahead. Keep going." The girl and I reach the cabin, and I slam the door shut behind us. I quickly lock it, my hand shaking from the adrenaline coursing through me. I look around, and there's nothing but the bare bones of the cabin, cracked walls, broken windows, a dusty floor. It's old, falling apart, but it's shelter. For now, it will have to do. The girl is breathing heavily beside me, her eyes wide with fear. She clutches the hem of my jacket, trying to steady herself. I reach out and place a hand on her shoulder, trying to calm her. "We're safe for now," I say, though I'm not sure how much comfort that offers. "We're not safe until they leave," she whispers, her voice trembling. I nod, my eyes scanning the cracks in the walls, looking for any sign of movement. I can't shake the feeling that the serpents are already out there, waiting. The minutes stretch on in silence. The girl sits on the floor, hugging her knees to her chest, trying to make herself as small as possible. I stay by the door, my gun still in hand, listening for any sound that could mean danger. Outside, I hear the faint sound of footsteps, slow, deliberate, as if they're searching the area. They're here. They're right outside. My grip tightens on the gun. The girl doesn't move. She's holding her breath, as if the very sound of our breathing might give us away. The footsteps stop, and I hear a low voice, one of the serpents. "They've got to be here somewhere," he says. "I'll check the back." I hold my breath, praying they won't find us. I glance out through the cracked window, but there's no movement. The man is gone, and for a moment, I think they might have moved on. But then I hear a loud crash from the back of the cabin, and I know they're still searching. The girl looks at me, her eyes wide with fear. "What do we do now?" she asks, her voice barely audible. I look around the cabin, my mind racing. There's nowhere to go. The back door is locked, and the front is blocked by the men. We're trapped. I swallow hard. "We wait," I say. "We wait until they leave. Then we make our move." The girl nods, but I can see the doubt in her eyes. She doesn't believe me. She doesn't think we'll make it out. And for the first time since we started this journey, I'm not sure either. But I can't let her see my fear. I have to stay strong. I won't let them take her. Not now. Not ever. I can feel the tension in the air as we huddle together in the corner of the cabin, the walls creaking with every movement from outside. The girl's hand is gripping mine, her small fingers trembling with fear. I've never been more aware of the sound of my own breathing, each one shallow and tight as I wait for the footsteps to fade. Outside, there's still a tense silence. Every minute that passes feels like an eternity. The serpents are out there, hunting us, and I know they're getting closer. I glance at the girl, her wide eyes looking up at me, filled with terror. I try to offer a reassuring smile, but it feels hollow. I know what's at stake, and I can see the fear in her eyes that I don't know how to ease. I have no answers for her, no way to promise that everything will be okay. I can't even promise that we'll make it out of here. I look toward the door, still tense and ready for the slightest sound, the smallest hint that they've found us. The footsteps stop for a moment, and for a brief second, I dare to hope that they've gone. But then I hear it. A low voice, muffled but unmistakable. "They've got to be in here somewhere. Search every inch." The door creaks again as the man moves closer, his footsteps heavy and deliberate. I hold my breath. They're searching, just outside. The girl is clinging to me now, her small frame pressed against my side. I can feel her pulse racing in sync with mine. We can't let them find us. I motion for her to stay low, my hand still gripping the gun. We've been here before, but now it feels different. The danger is real. The stakes are higher. The man's voice rises again, louder this time, just outside the door. "If they're here, they won't get far. We'll find them." My heart is in my throat. I know we don't have much time. The girl looks up at me, her lips trembling. "What if they come in?" she asks in a whisper. "We fight," I reply, trying to keep my voice steady. "But we're not giving up." She nods slightly, though I can see the doubt in her eyes. I know she's scared. I'm scared too. I wish I could offer her more than empty words, but there's nothing else I can say. The cabin feels smaller with every passing second. The walls seem to close in around us as I hear the man's footsteps grow closer. I motion for the girl to stay behind me. She's too young, too small to fight, but I will protect her with everything I've got. The door shakes under the pressure of a heavy knock. "They're in there," the man says, his voice low and menacing. I know what's coming next. They're about to break in. I can't let that happen. My mind is racing. I need to think, and fast. The back door. We can get out the back. I turn to the girl and motion for her to stay low and follow me. Get ready, I whisper urgently. She nods, though her hands are shaking. The sound of the door rattling fills the room, and I hear the man's voice again, now louder. We've got them. They're inside. Don't let them escape. My heart skips a beat. It's now or never. I pull the girl to her feet and grab her hand. I motion toward the back of the cabin, and we move as quietly as possible, trying not to make a sound. But the floorboards creak under our weight, and I know they've heard us. The door bursts open behind us, and I spin around, pulling the girl into a nearby closet. We squeeze into the small space, my heart thudding in my chest as I try to steady my breathing. The voices from outside are growing louder, closer, but for now, we're hidden. The man steps into the room, his boots thudding heavily on the floor. I can hear him breathing, his voice low as he searches the cabin. They have to be here, he growls. The door to the closet is just a few feet away, and I can hear the man getting closer. My hand is still around the gun, my finger ready on the trigger. But I don't want to use it. I don't want to hurt anyone. The girl's breathing is shallow, her body trembling against mine. I try to calm her, whispering softly. We're okay. Just stay quiet. I can feel her nod against me, but I can tell she's terrified. We're both terrified. The man moves closer to the closet, and I know this is the moment. He's going to find us. But then, just as he reaches for the door, I hear a loud crash from outside. The man freezes, his hand hovering just inches from the door. What was that? He mutters, stepping back. I hold my breath as he turns away, moving toward the noise. The moment he's gone, I release a breath I didn't know I was holding. Now, I whisper. We slip out of the closet and make our way toward the back door. I motion for the girl to stay close as I quietly open it. The night air is cold against my skin, and I can hear the sound of the man's footsteps fading into the distance. But I know it's not over. They'll be back. They won't give up. And neither will we. We run into the woods, the sound of our footsteps barely audible against the rustling of the trees. We don't stop. We can't stop. We're not out of danger yet. But I won't let them catch us. Not now. Not ever. We run through the woods, our breath coming in heavy gasps as the trees rush past us. The cold air bites at my skin, but the adrenaline keeps me moving faster than I ever thought I could. The girl's hand is firmly gripped in mine, her small fingers tight with fear. I can feel her trembling against me, but I don't dare slow down. I know we can't stop. Not yet. The sound of the serpents searching the cabin still rings in my ears, and I know they'll be on us soon if we don't get far enough away. I glance over my shoulder, half expecting to see headlights cutting through the trees, but the night is still. Silent. I push forward, weaving through the thick underbrush. The girl stumbles once, but I catch her, pulling her back into the run. Keep going. I tell her, my voice firm, but not without a hint of reassurance. She nods, though she doesn't speak, her face pale and full of fear. I can feel her clinging to me for comfort, her body pressed against mine as we move through the woods. Every time I glance back, the night is empty. Still, it feels too quiet, like we're walking into a trap. But I can't stop. Not when we're this close. The further we go, the more I feel the weight of this chase lifting, the more I can believe that we might actually get away. My thoughts race, my heart pounding in my chest, and I keep thinking about what comes next. Where do we go from here? How do we keep her safe? The girl's voice breaks the silence between us. Are they going to keep looking for me? She asks, her voice small, barely audible. I don't answer right away. I can feel the weight of her question, the fear behind it. I can't promise her that they won't find us, that this will be over. The truth is, I don't know. All I can do is keep moving forward and hope we can outrun them for good. We'll keep moving. I say, my voice steady despite the uncertainty inside me. We're not stopping until you're safe. The words feel hollow even as I say them, because I know how dangerous this all is. The serpents are ruthless, and they won't stop until they have her. But I won't let them. Not as long as I'm breathing. We push deeper into the woods, the sounds of the night growing louder as we put more distance between us and the cabin. The further we go, the less I hear the rustling of footsteps behind us. But I don't slow down. I can't afford to. The girl's grip on my hand tightens, and I feel a brief flash of guilt. She's been through so much, and I can only imagine how terrified she must be. But there's no time to stop and comfort her. We have to keep moving. The night seems to stretch on forever, the moon barely visible through the thick canopy of trees. But then, I see it, a faint light ahead. I don't know if it's a house, a road, or something else, but it's the first sign of life I've seen in what feels like hours. My pulse quickens as I pull the girl closer to me, my steps quicker now. We move toward the light, the woods giving way to a small clearing. As we reach the edge, I stop. Ahead, I can see the faint outline of a building. A cabin. It looks small, run down, but it's a place to hide. It's not much, but it's better than being out here in the open. I glance back at the girl. Her face is still pale, but there's a flicker of hope in her eyes. We can rest here, I tell her, my voice softening. We make our way toward the cabin, and I slow down just as we reach the door. I push it open slowly, my hand still gripping the gun tucked at my side. The door creaks as it swings open, and I listen intently for any sounds from inside. But it's quiet. Empty. I glance back at the girl, and she nods, following me inside. The cabin is small, just one room with a small fire pit in the corner. The windows are boarded up, the walls weathered and worn. It's not much, but it's enough. For now, it's our sanctuary. I lock the door behind us and turn to the girl. We're safe here, I tell her, though even I can't fully believe it. It's the only comfort I can offer her. She nods slowly, her eyes scanning the room, still filled with uncertainty. I can feel the weight of her fear pressing on me. But there's nothing more I can do but keep her safe, keep moving, and pray that we've put enough distance between us and the serpents. I sit on the floor, resting my back against the wall, and the girl sits beside me. She doesn't say anything, but I can feel her body slowly relaxing, her breathing slowing. For the first time in hours, I allow myself to close my eyes, just for a moment. But even as I sit there, in the stillness, I know this isn't over. The serpents will be back. They always come back. And when they do, we'll be ready. But for now, we have a moment of peace, and that's all I can give her. We'll rest here, regain our strength, and when the time comes, we'll fight. Together. In this gripping tale of survival, danger, and fierce loyalty, follow a young girl as she escapes from a terrifying pursuit by a ruthless gang. With the odds stacked against them, a tough biker takes it upon himself to protect her from the dark forces that threaten her life. As the two are relentlessly hunted by a gang known for their violent ways, the biker's resolve is tested at every turn. The girl, traumatized and desperate, finds solace in his promise to keep her safe. In the midst of dark forests, abandoned cabins, and close calls with death, this story weaves a powerful narrative that echoes the raw emotion and danger that come with running from the past. As the tension builds and the stakes rise, this is one of those unforgettable Hell Angels stories that captures the essence of protecting someone when no one else will. Their journey through the night is fraught with danger, but together they fight back against the threats that chase them. The biker's commitment to keeping her safe leads them through endless challenges, each more dangerous than the last. Every step they take is a step closer to survival, but as the serpents close in, the ultimate question remains. Will they make it out alive? These Hell Angel stories showcase the bond between two unlikely allies in a fight against overwhelming odds, all while facing the terror of being hunted by a deadly gang. Get ready to be on the edge of your seat as you experience the high stakes, emotional intensity, and unbreakable resolve that define the world of Hell Angel stories.